What's going on YouTube? It's your boy D Black. Just doing a quick kind of review, comparison, all a little bit of a rant. I mean, all that just compiled into one video, man. I don't really post much, but I just want to throw this out there. As far as in regards to the MPC Key 61 that they just released, I had mine for probably now maybe I'll say like over a week. I had it for a little bit of time, enough time to kind of work with it, see what the new things are, or as far as the 2.11 software, how the keys feel, how the overall workflow is compared to other MPCs. Even the one I have the MPC X, so I do have the X. So when I make these comparisons and these reviews, it's based off of like equipment that I have and that I actively use. But let's jump right into it, man. First thing I do want to address is that there's a lot of people that have been putting out reviews, people that had it before the initial drop, people that had it when it first came out. I was lucky enough to get one of the batches when they first released it. So again, this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, but I'm going to just jump into it, man. And then you had the folks with the opinions, right? That they may have not tested it out, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not here to tell anybody what they feel about anything or how they want to speak about anything, or whether or not they want to purchase it or choose not to. It's on them, and I respect everybody's choices. But I've seen a lot of people like saying it's the same thing. It's just like having, if you have an MPC 1 and you buy the $500 sound pack from the Kai website, which features the Fabric XL and all the other new plugins that they have that come with the MPC Key 61. People are basically saying that if you get that, there's no need for you to buy the keyboard. And, for some people, that's correct. If that works for them, if that's a good setup for them to just buy the sound pack, download the new sounds, and then just trigger them with your MIDI keyboard, I mean, you're still going to get the same sound. So in that regard, yeah, they're absolutely right. But this is what I will say. And again, I've been working with MPCs. I got my first MPC in 2002. I got an MPC 2000 XL. That was like the first MPC that I rocked out on. So I've been with Akai and using their products for a year. I had the MPC Renaissance. I had the silver MPC Studio. Y'all already know what that was. That shit was pretty dope. Yeah, so I had a bunch of their products. I had the MPC Live when it first dropped as well. So I mean, I use a lot of their products, man. And I will tell you that Key 61, the workflow, I don't know what it is. I can't really describe it, but the workflow is different. It just is like, and really going into it, right? There's some people that have been complaining, oh, it doesn't have enough Q links and all, it doesn't have as much IO. Like, how do y'all not realize that the MPC X is $2,300, right? It's $2,300, and you gotta buy another keyboard. So or whether you say this is someone initially that's like, oh, I want the MPC X, I want all the IO, I want those 8 outs, I want all that CV, the CV stuff. I just want all of the IO. I want 16 Q links. Say they want all of that. That's an initial purchase. Then they need to buy a controller with that. So depending on what controller you want to get, you tacking on another, let's say $300. So we at $2,600 right now, right? $2,600. And let's be real, most people are not using that IO that's on the MPC X. I did a instrumental project last year that was kind of geared towards like a little bit of a boom bap type of style. Most of the beats on there kind of had that, that feel to it. And what I did was when I made that project, I used the physical outs on the MPC, how I used to do back in the day with the 2000 XL. I used the physical outs, tracked them straight into my Apollo X8P interface, all 8 outs, and I will send the sounds out to give it a different type of a feel using the analog outs on there instead of just routing it through USB. Because I wanted that project to kind of have a different type of feel. And it does give you a little bit of a different sound. Anybody who would argue that, they probably never used an MPC and used the physical outs. It does sound a little bit different. It just does. And then for those that know. So I used it for that, but I gotta be honest with you. I don't use all 8 of those outputs all the time, most of the time. So I got the MPC X, and then I do use the Q links on there. I use the Q links. The knobs are pretty, I do like that on the MPC X. I like the scribble strips, all of that stuff, right? But how much am I using it to the point where it was $2,300 worth of using it? Now, I like the bigger screen, all of that stuff, but let's just be real. I got to keep it real. I'm not using the MPC X and all of its I/O, which is what you're paying more for, because the MPC Live does the same thing. MPC One, they all run the same software. They're just limited in terms of I/O and screens, maybe pad size, the screen's adjustable, stuff like that. So there's differences as to why they had to put the MPC X at that price point. Now, bringing the MPC Key 61 in the picture of it, it brings a totally different workflow. I mean, the way that they have those buttons, the dedicated buttons laid out, makes it very simple. They have a slight tilt on the screen. The top of the keyboard is kind of tilted, so you can still see it. On here, I can see it perfectly. I have my my other synthesizer on top, but I can still see everything cool. Even though the pads are smaller, I can still bang out on those pads. Just like people that's using the MPC One, they're not experiencing anything too crazy as far as the difference is concerned. They're still banging out. I know people that's banging out on the MPC One, killing it. But this thing right here brings a different type of workflow. And for those that actually used it or have it, understand what I'm talking about. I can sit on this thing all day and just bang out beats, right? Not to say I can't bang out tracks on the MPC X, I can, and I have, and I'm never getting rid of my X. In fact, my X is going to be in my room studio. When I want to spend time with the family, I got a little lab up there where, if my wife is reading or she's doing something, I can still be working on my stuff. We just in the same room kind of spending time, and I use the X for that, and I can travel with it as well. Now, it is kind of chunky on that on that part as far as traveling, but I got a nice little one of those magma cases, something like that. I could put it in there. It works out fine. But the workflow on this thing is on point, man. The sounds that come with it, and again, you can buy those sounds on the Akai website, so you can still purchase the sounds and put them in your MPC One, your Live, or your X. You can still have access to those sounds, but I don't know what it is as far as everything being in that one. It's a workstation, so I don't have to keep turning my chair, going over here, going over there. Like, some people don't have as much real estate. So you may have somebody that has an MPC that's sitting over here, and then their keyboard's got to be, kind of far away from it. So some of that stuff can affect workflow. Again, it's not a major thing. It's not a crazy deal breaker. And if you rocking out with the system that you already have or the setup that you have, keep using that. But what I'm saying is, this thing, the workflow is different. They are not the same. And this is coming from somebody that has both of them. I use both of them. They are not the same. I go from making tracks on the MPC Key 61, and then I'll go upstairs, work on a track on the MPC X, and it's just a different type of workflow, man. Maybe later on I'll do another video that kind of, when I really get a grasp on the main differences. But I could tell you just for right now, me just having my transport control right on top of those keys, I mean, it's on point to have that. That right there is a game changer. It's easy. My keys are right in front of me. I don't have to move around or spin my chair and do all this extra stuff. The dedicated sounds button, so you can literally boot this thing up, hit sounds, browse through your sounds. Again, that button that's not on the MPC any other MPC models, man. The direction they're going with the workstation is perfect. And then the price point, let's talk about that. I hear people talking about, oh man, it doesn't have 16 Q links. It's supposed to have this. It's supposed to be just like the MPC X. How are they going to be able to make it affordable? The MPC X is still the flagship product for the MPC line. It's still the top dog as far as, price point and stuff like, and features, as far as like IO and stuff like that. The MPC X is still, they had to make a lane for this somehow, business wise, man. I think sometimes people just gotta get out of their feelings about the stuff. It's business. Like, why would a Kai knock the MPC X out of the box? There are people that still have to use the X. People doing live performances, or people having crazy setups in their studio where they require all that additional IO. Most of us don't, and we just got to keep it real. Y'all asking for stuff that isn't practical for your use most of the time. Now, are there people that we've all seen on Instagram, on TikTok or YouTube, that have all kinds of, they're using the CV gate and all of this other stuff connected, and they got modular synths and all this stuff running through? Man, listen, man, I don't have all that, and most of us don't. There's a small niche of people that actually gonna use all that IO on this MPC X. So the way that they was able to scale this down and make it affordable is to, one, cut down on the pad size. Cool, they did that. They cut down on the IO. They cut down on all the individual the dedicated buttons that the MPC X has. Like, all of these things that they were able to trim to get it at a price point where, people still would want to get it. And it's not more than the flagship product. You know what I'm saying? That, like, they don't plan to knock the MPC out of the wall. I don't know. They may be cooking up another MPC X, another version of it. I don't know. But as for right now, why would they want to put out a keyboard that shares the same software, has less IO? Why would they make it either more, or why would they put more of that stuff on there at a lower price point? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you still sell the MPC X for $2,300 and you're supposed to give everything that the MPC X has on the MPC Key 61 for a cheaper price? Like, we got to get out our feelings with this. Another thing I want to talk about is the rollout this time. I don't hear anybody giving Akai props for this rollout, man. Listen, man. Akai has some issues some years back as far as them rolling out products, man. Like, it was weird when the Renaissance came out. That was a little finicky. And then when the MPC X dropped, that was a damn fiasco, man. Like, that was, like, I made a ranting video about that back in, some years back, man. Like, like, they had people on this pre-order stuff, and then the units was showing up, and they kept pushing it back and all this other crazy stuff, man. It was a mess. This rollout was crazy. They literally dropped it. They officially, because everybody's been talking about this thing, but they officially made the announcement, and it was ready that same day. You know what I'm saying? When Akai officially announced it. That's crazy. I'm going to shout out to Akai for that, man. I'm going to give you props on that, man, because everybody still, they trying to throw you under the rug. And I did it before too. I ain't going to lie. Like, y'all was slacking a little bit on that, but with this rollout, crazy. I saw the post on Instagram, and I was like, man, ain't no way that this thing is out now. First thing I thought to myself, do I gotta wait 10 months to get this? Is it out now? Why they talking about something they ain't gonna release till next year? Right? So I was being negative about it. I ain't gonna lie, I was negative. So I click on the link, go on their website, and then there was a button that said buy now at the bottom. And I'm like, buy now? There's no way. This is Akai we talking about, man. They ain't got this thing. This is some type of hoax. So I click buy now, send it to the cart, and like I'm literally about to go through a checkout on this thing. And I had my card. I'm ready. I'm like, dude, am I about to buy this? Is it really out? Something told me to call Akai. So I pick up the phone. I call these people, man. I'm like, hey, man, like, are y'all pulling any type of scams or swindles? Like, real talk, like, what are y'all doing with this? Like, is this thing out for real? And the dude started laughing on the phone, like a little chuckle, man. He's like, yeah, man, it's out. Like, we still got a few units in here. If you purchase right now, it'll ship today. I said, it's gonna ship today. Like, y'all really have it. Like, y'all didn't just like say that you have this thing and it's still a prototype type of deal. He was like, no. Most of your major retailers will have it. So whoever you usually get your equipment from, they will have it right now. It is released today. So I'll get off the phone with the man, go on Sweetwater's website, and sure enough, this thing is like ready to ship in stock. And you know, when Sweetwater say it's in stock, it's in stock. Like they got it down packed. So I order this thing, get it, you know, next day air shows up at the house, man. So I'm gonna give Akai a shout out for this rollout, man. Like, I don't hear anybody talking about that. That rollout was dope. They already had everything mapped out. They had the units already at the stores. They had the units already at the online retailers. And when they said go, they was ready to go. So shout out to Akai for that, man. Like, I hope everybody out, you know, I'm pretty sure some other people had that experience too. And they were, you know, shocked, just as shocked as I was that it was actually out and it wasn't, you know, a swindle to get pre-orders or anything like that, man. So just wanted to get on that, man. Just touch on a few different things, man. Like, talk about it in the comments, man. Like, again, I know everybody got their own opinions, saying that it's no difference and you shouldn't buy it and I don't need it. And to each his own. If you don't feel you need it, because let's just be real, most of us don't need half of this stuff. Like, we don't need half of it. But it's about what you want and what you can buy and what you choose to spend your money on. And some people are saying, hey, you know, I don't want to spend money on something when I could just put the 2.11 update on there and, you know, go about my business. But yeah, like me, I was like, nah, I want to try this thing out, man. It seems like it would be a decent thing, and it turned out to be dope. Like, I do not regret getting this, and I will recommend it to anybody, especially the people that are like keyboard players, man. They do playing for a living and stuff like that. Of course, this got to go get some road testing. Some guys got to put this through the fire. So I want to see how it is. I'm gonna look at the reviews and seeing some people that actually take this thing on the road and see how it works. But for me in the studio, this thing is money, dude. You go so fast through stuff, man. And the way I got this thing set up is basically I have everything that's connected to my my mixer here, my Personas mixer, my digital board. I got it going out and recording into the MPC Key 61. So I got my outboard synths, whatever else, microphone, all this stuff is routed through the board and comes out from the board into here. So I can sample real quick, even if I'm browsing on my phone. I got my phone Bluetooth to my digital console. So anything I play on my phone, I can literally sample right here and there into the MPC, map it out on the keys, and that's it, man. Done deal. Everything is quick, it's fast. Like, the workflow is just different, man. And I'm not moving to something else, another keyboard, like I have to do with the MPC X. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. You can make it happen. There's people that's gonna make bangers on everything. So don't take what I'm saying as like you have to get this to make good music. You don't need to have any of this stuff. Like, you can get busy with an iPad. There's dudes putting out crazy stuff on iPads and crushing it. So it's like, I'm not saying that you need any of it, but what I am saying is, for the people that are putting this these opinions out that it's the same exact thing, these are not the same workflow. They're not. And anybody that owns either one of these or both, mainly the people that own MPC 1, Live, and X, and then they also purchased this, will tell you the same thing. It is different. And they're all going to most probably say that the workflow on this, for whatever reason, is a lot better. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, it's all encompassing. It's inside of one unit. You're not going to other things. And sometimes that couple seconds difference in your workflow, I don't know, matters, man. I don't know if y'all like me, but I got a short attention span. And yeah, like if I get thrown off, I get thrown off, and that's it. So yeah, man, leave your comments, man. Like I said, I know this was a lengthy video, but I just wanted to kind of talk about it and talk about some things I haven't really heard people discussing. But let me know what you think, man. Yeah, make music, continue to do your thing.